Hello there my beloved Bassies, and welcome to another episode of Truth Behind the Tale, the series where I take a look at some of our most famous fairy tales and delve into their real-world historical and cultural origins. And today, for the Halloween episode of 2020, we are going to be taking a look at arguably the grimmest of Brothers Grimm stories, the Juniper Tree. And this is another one that I had to do in full makeup. I tried to sort of make it tie into the story of the Juniper Tree, so as I go on, hopefully you'll be able to see the connections. Anyway, let's go. My mother, she killed me. My father, he ate me. My sister Marlene gathered all my bones, tied them in a silken scarf, laid them beneath the Juniper Tree. Tweet, tweet, what a beautiful bird am I. So it is sung in the Juniper Tree, a story about an abused boy who was murdered and cannibalised by his own family. And it pretty much sets the scene for everything which makes this particular fairy tale among the darkest and most mature ever collected by the Brothers Grimm. And considering the rest of their catalogue, that says a lot. It's perhaps not as well known as some of their other fairy tales to the casual reader, but it does have a certain level of notoriety. But is all of the grisly, gruesome grimness all there is to it? Let's take a look. For context, here's an abridged version of the story. After giving birth to a boy as white as snow and red as blood, his mother dies and is buried under a juniper tree near the house. Years later, the boy is hated and abused by his new stepmother because she wants her own daughter, Marlene, to inherit her father's wealth. One day, the stepmother decapitates him by luring him to a chest full of apples and slamming the lid down on his head. She then props his head back onto his body so that Marlene, when tempted to hit him, will think that she killed him. Marlene cries constantly as the stepmother cooks the boy into a blood soup, which she then serves to his father. Marlene then gathers all the boy's bones and buries them under the juniper tree in a silken scarf, after which a beautiful bird emerges and flies around the town, singing of what had happened to the boy in exchange for gifts. It gives a golden chain to the father, red shoes to Marlene, but when the stepmother comes out to receive her gift, the bird drops a millstone on her head, killing her, restoring the boy to life. So, yeah. Okay, so straight off the bat, what have we got? There are definitely several parallels in there which are elements also found in Snow White, and that also happened with the Wild Swans 7 Ravens episode too. But we also have connections to the German version of Cinderella. This version is called Aschenputtel and features a tree which is planted on the mother's grave and a bird spirit who resides in the tree and throws down gifts. In the case of Aschenputtel, the dress to go to the ball. Another connection is to Hansel and Gretel, with a murderous stepmother, ineffectual father, brother and sister, and, of course, cannibalism. But this also shows another interesting angle in how the food itself is associated with death. The boy himself is killed by trying to reach an apple. The stepmother then cooks him and feeds him to his father. But we also have the connection of the boy's mother cutting an apple when she pricks her finger and the blood falls on the snow before his birth, and the stepmother herself being killed by a millstone, which is typically used to grind corn. Apples, of course, can be a tempting evil, which especially parallels the fact that the Brothers Grimm mention that the stepmother is being made to do these wicked things by the devil. This story is pretty heavy on the religious symbolism in general. The devil tends to appear in various guises throughout several Brothers Grimm works, and in regards to this one, the stepmother mentioning raging fires in her veins may suggest that she is damned or that she herself is some kind of offshoot of the devil. The transformation of the boy into a bird which then kills the stepmother could be seen as a symbol of the Holy Spirit, which is sometimes depicted as a white dove and bringing divine justice upon the wicked. Marlene burying the bones under the juniper tree could represent the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ. Then there's the argument that the stew itself could represent the Eucharist, especially since in the original German it's mentioned that the boy's blood is included in the ingredients, not just his body. And the millstone would have had very clear biblical connotations during the time that the story was collected by the Brothers Grimm. According to Luke 17:12, it would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. So now that we've looked at how the story ties into wider folklore and religious symbolism, let's take a dive into some history which might have influenced the original oral folktale which was recorded. The Brothers Grimm first published the Juniper Tree in Low German in 1812, and it was the second longest story in their original collection. It came just after another version which appeared only a few months earlier by Johann Gustav Busching. The overall source for both of these was the Almond Tree. This was a literary version of a local folktale which was first published in 1808 by the painter Philipp Otto Runge, but elements of it have been found earlier still. In 1777 came a ballad about two siblings being parted forever, which shares many similarities to the song featured in the Juniper Tree. My dearest brother I once did see, as it hopped about in the Juniper Tree, a beautiful bird with plumage gay. I threw my ring at it in a freak, it caught it up in its little beak, and flew into the forest far away. Adieu, adieu, adieu. The detail of the boy being eaten as a meal can also be found in Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus, in which Titus murders Demetrius and Chiron, and states, "Let me go grind their bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let their vile heads be baked." He then serves this blood bone pie to their mother before killing her. Going back further, we have the Greek story of Tantalus from the 2nd century. Tantalus killed his son and tried to feed the human flesh to the gods in order to see if he could fool them, but naturally it didn't work. They restored the boy to life and punished Tantalus by taking him to the underworld and forcing him to stand in a pool of water with a fruit-laden tree just above his head. However, when he bent down to drink, the water level would recede, and when he reached up to take the fruit, the branches would raise. This is the origin of the word tantalizing and its meaning of a temptation that can never be satisfied. But the earliest potential form of a story of this type comes from ancient Egypt and features the god Osiris. Osiris ruled Egypt alongside Isis, but his brother Set became jealous and planned to assassinate him. Set threw a banquet and declared that he would give a beautiful box to anybody who could fit inside it. However, the box in question had been made to Osiris's exact measurements, so as soon as he climbed in, Set and two accomplices slammed the lid shut, sealed it, and threw it in the Nile. The box floated down the river until it eventually became lodged in a tamarisk tree. Isis soon managed to find him and hid him so that she could gather herbs in order to restore him to life, but Set then found Osiris, dismembered him, and scattered the pieces of his body all across Egypt. However, Isis managed to recover all of them except for one. She then took the form of a bird and conceived their son Horus, who would later go on to exact revenge against Set for his father's murder. This story actually brings us nicely back to the Juniper Tree itself, because for all of its macabre content, it can also be seen as a story of life triumphing over death. At the end, the boy is restored, the family becomes happy again, and with the stepmother gone, they are unified and can start over. The darkness of this tale, if anything, serves to bring even more light when it does appear, and really helps the happy ending feel earned after so much pain and wickedness. It's a story about looking beneath the surface and not taking things at face value, especially in regards to being served a certain delicious yet mysterious stew. Okay Batty, so that's all I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this particularly grim, no pun intended, episode of Truth Behind the Tale. Please give the video a big thumbs up if you did, and please don't forget to leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It would be great to have you as part of our little Batty family. It would really be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button, guys, because the majority of people who watch my videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, so please come join us. We have cake. We don't really. I have an apple. Also, don't forget to head on over to my website and sign up for my newsletter so you can get your free starter library and monthly updates sent straight to your inbox. And if you enjoy what I do, then please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue to bring you novels, short stories and videos. Special Patreon shout out to my phenomenal Batty, Mary Lee Blackrose. Thank you so much for your support. The next episode of Truth Behind the Tale will be coming on the last Tuesday of next month. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful Halloween, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon in another video. Bye! Well, what I've tried to do here is, obviously my head's been knocked off because I've stuck my head in a chest full of apples, and then I've got branches of the juniper tree sort of here, and you can't really see it, but sort of feathers underneath because I'm going to turn into a bird. There's method in my madness. I am way too easily amused. I'd keep this one for Halloween. This would be a good one to string up between a doorway and knock my teeth out with. What am I talking about? I've got a stupid jaw. I can't even eat apples. I can't even eat them normally. Nope.